Hello and welcome to Friday with the Chakontas. I am Mr. Chakonta,
And I'm Mrs. Chakonta.
and we're back with our series on the FWT Reacts.
Yes, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for those who've been watching. I keep saying watching and listening, commenting and following us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We really appreciate it. If this is the first time that you're joining us, welcome. I hope that you like what we talk about. Please feel free to leave a comment or to just join in a discussion with us. And also, don't forget to give this a thumbs up as well as share the video or subscribe at the end.
Yeah.
All right.
So what do you have for us today? Sorry.
So we've got... So where are we? There's a guy that spent 3 years asking my best friend out and she kept rejecting him. She told me that the guy is not her type. So somewhere last year, I asked the guy out and he agreed. After 2 dates, we decided to be in a relationship, but we didn't tell my friend. She somehow found out and I told her the truth. I also told her that the guy is treating me well. She said she was fine with it, but a few hours later, I noticed she'd blocked me on all social media platforms. Her other friend told me that she deleted all my pictures on all her socials. Was I wrong to date someone she didn't want for 3 years?
We've had this conversation before, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. I don't see anything wrong with it. And I think we've had this conversation. That's what I'm saying. I feel that if something has not happened something good has not happened with you and in that relationship with that person, with your ex, I think it's selfish for you to keep a hold of them and not let them experience relationships with other people.
Okay.
And because of that, I think there has to be a level of where what has not worked with you guys you cannot also say that it won't work with your friend or your sister or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think there has to be a level of where there's no claim of somebody, especially in the context of dating. And I think dating sometimes has come to this point of where we claim, because we've experienced so many emotional things and so many things that we did in those dating seasons, we feel like we've got a hold of that person, which is selfish. The only person biblically, the only one who you have a claim towards is your wife or your husband. Extending it that way, I think, is now pushing it.
Okay.
I'll just start from there. Yeah.
I see what you're saying because I think there are two elements to this.
Yeah.
And I agree with what you're saying, although I do still think that they're boundaries. But those are not biblical boundaries that I'm talking about. They're more like friendship. We shouldn't date within the same, but that's not. So what I'm trying to say basically is I think you're right.
Yeah.
However, in this scenario, the girl gives us a picture of how she got this guy.
Yeah.
And then at the end, she now says, she asks a different question.
Yeah.
That's not the question she should have asked. The question she should have asked at the end was, did I get this guy in the right manner or in the correct way? Because she said, was I wrong to date someone she didn't want for 3 years? No, you're not wrong dating someone that she didn't want for 3 years. But how you went about it, how can this be your best friend? You are not her best friend. Because best friends don't do that to each other. Because she was so sneaky. You knew that this guy has been pursuing your best friend for a whole year.
But they actually didn't even date.
No. Yeah, but let me finish, babe.
Okay.
First of all,
Yeah.
Let's look at it from the beginning.
Yeah.
She knows that this guy has been pursuing her best friend for 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? Or 2 years. I don't know, because it's saying in the last year they've been dating.
Yeah.
And the best friend has been rejecting this guy. What did the girl do? She went and asked the guy out. She went. It's not even like the guy came running to her. She moved her legs and went to the guy. Then she went on a date. They took on 2 dates. They talked and decided they were going to be in a relationship. And she says, we didn't tell my friend. Sure, she's start from being a best friend to now just my friend. They didn't tell my friend.
Yeah.
She somehow found out, and I told her the truth. And then even the truth, you even say he's treating me well. She said, I'm fine with it. And then you get blocked. Of course, I'm going to block you. You're not my friends. Friends don't do that to each other. You're not my best friend either. You don't do that.
Do what?
You lie. All you had to say was, before you go and ask this guy out, this is sneaky behavior. This characteristic that I am seeing that is not quality of a best friend.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. So I don't think her being with the guy is wrong if the girl did not want this guy.
Okay. So
but how she went about it was completely wrong.
Okay.
This shows a dishonest friend. This shows someone who has stabbed you in the back and can stab you in the back again.
No.
Because she didn't even apologize.
I think you're taking it too far.
No, babe. She's saying,
Brother, you're taking it too far.
That's fine. You can say I'm taking it too far, but you don't understand the girl code.
No,
this is.
I think.
Let me finish letting out my emotions, babe.
Okay, what's the girl code
This is a best friend. So there's already this. She describes this girl as a best friend. So if she's your best friend, a guy has been checking her out, but you like him, tell her. Say I like him. You don't even have to say, you don't even have to ask for, it'll be nice for you to ask for her permission. But I understand if you just say, okay, I'm going to ask him out. Is that all right? But you knew that this guy has been, and the problem is this, when you do things like that, relationships are not always sweet. Yeah. This guy that you're with, you haven't even analyzed why the best friend has been refusing fine. Because your best friend could have said, oh, you know what? I've seen something about him. That's why I didn't go. So maybe she's protecting herself and could have protected you from that relationship. Mm-hmm. Or 2, maybe he don't even like you fully. You don't even know. And now you're going to enter into a relationship or even a marriage where you're now insecure because you still think he has feelings for your best friend.
I agree with that. But my question, I think you're assuming that if you've got a best friend, you're always going to be a best friend to that person. It's not. It doesn't mean that. Best friends are not eternal. Do you think that?
No. They're not eternal except for me and my best friend. But
I agree.
I know that they're not eternal. But she wrote this letter saying, my best friend. Right?
Okay.
So this is your close sister. Tell her. You went behind her back, not only to ask the guy out, but to also go on a date and still keep quiet. And now you wonder why she's blocked you.
Okay, I understand. Maybe on her side, look, this is the consequences of doing something that maybe somebody doesn't like. And the aspect of her blocking you is of an overreaction. I think she's overreacting. But also that also shows you that, look, one, maybe your friendship has come to a course where it has to end. Because that's being childish. One, she's childish in the sense she didn't like this guy. And then now when you go and basically like this guy and say, okay, I see he's interesting. I see why doesn't she like this guy? The only thing that I probably think is she did wrong here was she did not communicate with her best, who hypothetically was her best friend, about her feelings of that guy.
But she didn't even ask the guy out herself, babe. I think it's even different if the guy asked her out.
No, but it's okay. I'm saying that's a whole different question. But the issue is here, it doesn't mean that if she does not see the guy attractive, she may see the guy attractive. And she's basically coming to the point of saying, yeah, okay, you don't want him, I'll go for him. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no claim that girl should have. Should she react in a particular way? Now my question is, why is she reacting? Did she like the attention? So that's the way I'm going. Did she like the attention and the rejecting of this guy? Maybe. Or is it something else? Is it more on the side of where she just feels betrayed?
Friend. Yeah, it's betrayal to a next level. Like, all she had to do was tell her friend. And I know the friend blocking her, saying that it's fine, and then blocking her, that is immature. I agree with you. She should have just said, okay, it is fine, but I don't think we can be friends anymore. And then just tell her. Like, instead of showing her through actions, she should have just said, based on your actions, I don't think I can trust you. And as a result of the lack of trust, I don't think that our friendship, we can be best friends anymore.
Yeah, that's
because
okay.
of what you've done. And that's a mature thing to say.
Yeah.
And for me, I think the girl is missing the point. I feel like the way she is not seeing her error. She is just looking at the fact that her friend has reacted. And so painting the situation in a way that makes the friend look bad and saying, well, is it wrong that I want to date someone she has rejected for 3 years?
Yeah.
So it paints her in a positive light. So we are thinking, well, yeah, like it's not wrong because your friend didn't want him and it seems that you guys clicked. That's not wrong. But one of the reasons probably your friend has behaved the way she has and you're now questioning that is because of how you initially behaved. If you had approached your friend and maybe asked her, maybe she would have given you her blessings and said, go for it, girl. If you like him, I don't like him, it's okay. Or there is also a chance she would have said, no, I don't like him, but I'm not comfortable for you to go with him. And that's another topic. That's where I would see with I would sit with, as much as I get that I would agree with you that she has no claim over him. But I think that when the girl is getting into this relationship, she needs to understand that one of the possible frictions is the fact that the guy liked the other girl, like her best friend, and the best friend was not happy for her to get into a relationship with him. It's like you have to look at the scenario and the circumstances in which you're getting yourself into and what are the potential problems you could have. But the girl has no sort of self-reflection or self-awareness that she didn't even she could have apologized. I mean, it doesn't suggest that she did. She just told her, say, oh, so me and Thingy are dating and he's treating me really well. Yeah, like you didn't even think what you did was okay. Like what you did was not okay.
Okay.
You don't do that to friends.
So maybe explain to me, what's the girl code?
Oh, I don't even know what the girl code is, to be honest. But there is this code that we shouldn't be dating each other's ex.
Okay.
But this is not an ex.
Okay,
and this kind of fits into the girl code a bit because the guy liked her.
Okay, but now I feel like this is hypocritical on the girl side. You guys want to uphold certain codes. Would you be happy if I held certain codes on the guy code?
What's the guy code?
I'm not allowed to snitch.
Snitch what?
Or if you're messing around with X amount of girls, I'm not allowed to snitch.
There's no, you're sinning and we're not.
You are holding on to something that's not yours. Why is there a clause about not dating? I think you are.
Be careful.
How am I sinning by withholding information?
You're lying.
I'm
if
not
you get asked, oh, did you see him? No.
Okay, maybe.
I ain't saying anything because I ain't a snitch.
Okay, but my other side it's also the other side on your side. On you're saying, look, I want to withhold this situation because I think it's also sin, to be honest.
Well, to be
Why
fair,
are you holding something that you cannot have?
I think you're right. I mean, I think it's a problem, and I am part of the girl code. But I think you're right in that I don't think we should be telling each other not to be with each other's exes. But I just think it's weird. Like it's just like weird.
You have to.
I don't even know how to explain it. I can't even find the words to say it. I'm just like,
no, you have to justify why it's weird.
No,
because
it's not.
I feel like
I think it creates a lot of. I think it's actually problematic because I don't think people see. I think if it was as simple as, well, I don't like these pair of shoes, you can have it. But there's what we don't realize is because we're dating around and doing things that we shouldn't really be doing. We are creating bonds and attachments unnecessarily. Yeah. And in this day and age, we're also going the extra mile, not just dating, but we're kissing, we're touching, we're having sex. So we're creating even stronger bonds than before.
But is that basically you were doing something you're not supposed to be doing? Yeah.
So I'm just trying to say, in this day and age, dating is no longer it's not like.
So why would you make a code over something that you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing?
No. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that you need to be careful if you are dating a friend's ex, because in this day and age, the way we date is very different to how things used to be centuries ago. we it's almost like we're like we're married, but we're without the commitment. We're doing married people stuff without the commitment. So we are entangling ourselves emotionally, physically, spiritually, without even realizing it, in businesses that we shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And so we are creating a situation where actually, if we were just plain friends and said, oh, would you be interested in that guy? No, would you? Yeah, it's fine. But we're actually creating bonds with these people. So now you can imagine your best friend is now wanting to get married to a guy that you had been sleeping with, a guy that you're now the baby mama for. So it's the scenario and the circumstances which we have created in this day and age ourselves as men and women makes it harder for us to, makes it even more complicated for us to just say, I mean, you can go with, but that is a mess, creates a messy marriages and messy relationships. That's how you now start feeling insecure in your marriage about who he loves, who she loves, because they dated your friend, and because they looked at her this way at the barbecue, because they said, oh, could you please pass me the salt? Like, you just be imagining every single thing, because things happen that should not have happened, because we've opened up the doors that should only be opened in marriage. There's now a baby in the picture, and it's just messy.
I agree with that, but I'm saying that we have seen, like, Ruth, this is one of the things that I feel maybe we tend to forget that we live in a sinful world. And sin will be evident. Sin will come in various shapes and sizes, to the point of where, in a sinful aspect of where, like, people have done certain things which are sinful, and now there's a product of complication. Now, are we now going to now start making rules based on now their sin, and saying, because this guy is somebody, is baby mama, I shouldn't basically not look at her or something like that? There is no commitment. We are now saying, in the midst of that sin, something has happened. You guys are not committed to each other. One of the other guys has actually moved on. Now I am now close to I'm your friend, but now I've said, the girl who you've had a child with, me and her are getting closer, and now I'm just like, I can't marry you because you've got my friend's baby. I think that's you're now making boundaries. You're now making imaginary boundaries, and I think because of that, it becomes more on the side of, there is now a sinful aspect of where people are now using these things of saying, oh, I have experiences with this person. I have a child with this person. Although I haven't committed to that person, I have basically, I have, like, how can I put this?
I have rights.
I have rights to that person, or I have, it gives me an exclusive aspect to that person. And I feel like that's wrong. If you wanted that exclusive aspect to that person, get married to that person and share those things. And I think it also puts now a disadvantage of that person to now move on. And I think if we're going to now do all those things, it becomes an aspect of where these now, it's like we're making different rules. And those rules are now based on now trying to accommodate our feelings and trying to be comfortable in the sinful mess that we've brought, which is wrong. And I think also in the sense of also best friends and everything like that, look, I agree. As a best friend, out of courtesy, have the conversation with me before you move forward. That's where she was wrong. But on the side of now where you think, oh, because my question is, like, you don't like him, so why don't you just basically say, go for him? And I think maybe there are two issues here. Maybe there's another angle of where the girl is saying, maybe the girl who's gone for the guy, there's something wrong with that girl. Or maybe there's the other side, maybe you're not looking at, where the girl knows the attitude of her friend, and she's just saying, my friend is just difficult. And my friend, when I come to her, I like this guy. And she'll just make a big deal out of this. And she justifies it in her head. And basically saying, I'll know that my friend would just basically know, and no, what and what and what. So all those things. So there are two sides. Either way, that girl has now made a decision and she's comfortable with this man. And if that person, then this okay. It's not all the time that people will always be best friends. It's not all the time that relationships will always continue for all seasons. A good example we see is the issue of Paul and Barnabas. They were doing ministry together. They had a sharp argument about the involvement of John Mark, to the point of where they felt like they had to split their missionary journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's just saying we just can't go. We've got a different philosophy of how we do this thing. And let's say, for example, maybe it means my philosophy of friendship with you is very different. I don't see this as a big issue. You see it as a big issue. I think let's wash our hands. We had a good run. I'll have somebody else who will be my best friend and everything like that. I wish you the best. You wish me the best. We can go our separate ways. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no claim that this person has. And on the fact that she's actually saying that she doesn't feel like that's the guy's type. Somebody's type then I think this is another thing where like maybe you women should also just sit down and also think about it. Like there's always somebody's, what's the word? Somebody's trash will always be somebody's treasure, yeah? That's what they say.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the thing. And that's just the way life is. And I think there's also another angle of where ladies, they say an age where like ladies are so picky. Very picky, to the point of where they've got this ideal guy of where they're saying, I want this guy. He has to be this tall. He has to be like that. And they're not looking at the angle of seminal things. Is he godly? Does he do things in the right way? Is he going to love me right? And all those things. And those are not the things that they're yearning for. To the point of now they're going to a certain age and then they've rejected so many guys. Those guys have gone to find other girls and gotten married. Now she's now complaining in her 30s why she's not married. And that becomes now a challenge. And now you are trying to justify the aspect of the only way I think God is going to bless me is if he gives me what I want. And my list has to be fulfilled. And I think there has to also now come to another angle is the list that you are now making. Is that your list or is that God's list? To the point of where like sometimes maybe your list is very idolatrous. And that needs to be checked also. And maybe that's why some people are single. I'm not saying that this is not an angle of trying to chastise people who are single. And saying there's a reason for you to be picky, but your pickiness always has to align with what scripture is saying and what I think God is calling me to do.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, you want to add?
No, actually, I see where you're coming from. I think for me, it was how she handled the situation rather than the actual issue of her dating her friend's not wanted man, guy. It was that this is not a best friend. Like you did not act in a manner that a friend should act.
And what else did she say here? She said her other friend told me that she deleted all my pictures. Yeah, I think she's upset. So I think, what's your advice now to this person? I think maybe the advice will be on the side of maybe give it time.
No, there's no time to give. You need to reach out. You did wrong in how you did it.
No, she's trying to reach out, I think, but the girl is upset.
Yeah, she's blocked you. Find a way to reach out and apologize. I don't think you need to wait to apologize when you know you've done wrong. What you did, the guy is not what you did wrong. You hid something from your friend that you should not have hidden. You should have, if she's your best friend, you should have approached her and be open with her.
But if I'm if I'm trying to talk to you and you're not being
but
responsive.
she didn't. But the point is, babe, the thing is, she went and told her, yes, the rumors you've heard are true, and the guy is treating me well. That's what she said in the message. So if there was no hint of an apology, then my first advice is you don't need to wait. You need to find a way to apologize to her. You can even use the other friend that
Okay,
keeps
I get
spreading
you.
the rumors. Also, that one is be careful going from one letter A to letter B. So you can even use that friend and say, look, I really want to talk to her. I really want to apologize about how I behaved and how I went about this. And I want us to talk about it. I think even if you're not friends, you going forward, you at least owe her the apology. And you know what? This guy's not your husband. And boys come and go. It's true. You know, boys come and go.
And
That
friends do
statement
too.
of friends, yes, friends do too, but friends, you know, that saying boys can come and go and friends are forever. Like, I still believe in those sort of sentimental, but yeah, it's true. Friends do come and go as well. And, you know, this could be the end of your relationship and you learn from it and you move on. But boys do come and go. You don't, if she's your best friend and you've been through a lot together, you don't know what you need her for. This relationship, yes, you've only been on 2 dates. That doesn't mean you're gonna get married. I mean, I'm just saying it might be the guy that you end up being in a lovely long-term married relationship with and be your husband. That would be wonderful. But it does not necessarily mean that this is the guy that you're going to marry.
True.
So be careful how you treat your friends because you.
So would you be? Can't you see some? Okay, another question. What about What if that other girl who's been rejecting that boy, then she now basically now starts pursuing that boy out of anger? How?
Then it's just
would,
up to the boy how he behaves, and that would be really good because that would be a good test of that boy, and that would also help to test the strength of, not the strength, but because I feel like when you have such a dynamic like this, I mentioned it before, there is insecurities that you're likely to have.
Yeah.
Not everybody will, but there's a chance you will be insecure in your relationship with that man because he liked your friend. So you always compare yourself. You might find yourself comparing yourself to your friend and all of that, where you now become suspicious even in the house when you're like, they're not even doing anything, but certain things your eyes are like, oh, well, maybe he wishes he'd married her. Maybe you wish, you know, she even becomes the topic of your fight sometimes. Oh, yeah, I know the way you look at her and all of that. So if the girl pursued that guy, then obviously that's not a great friend. Like, you don't do tit for tat either. But how the guy responds is very vital for your relationship. If he comes and if he ignores her, great. But if he doesn't and entertains it, then you've got your answer. You just lost a friend and the guy.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think, on the side of what I'm saying, look, I think the principle here is if it cannot work out for you, don't come to the point of where you feel like it won't work out for other people. But also on the other side, on the sense of friendship, honesty to the point, I think sometimes things may hurt, but you always have to be honest and say, this is where I am and this is how I need to, this is how I feel. If God is leading you to that guy or something like that, should I pursue that? At least for the sake of the friendship, the best thing is have a conversation. And through that conversation, we'll see how it goes. And as we have also said, sometimes friendships have got expiry dates. And hopefully this is not their situation. Hopefully that this is just something where they have to just come and sit down and say how their feelings about the whole situation is. Maybe the feelings is not even about the guy. Maybe the feeling is about something else, and hope they can iron it out. Anything you want to add?
No, that's good, babe.
So thank you very much for listening to this FWTC Reacts. We are thankful for all the time of the support that you always give to us. And if you got any comments about this, about has this girl broken the girl code, or where's the limits of the girl code or boy code or anything like that, and we would like to hear that from your comments. Like we always say, like, subscribe, comment, and
share.
So until next time, take care, and God bless. Bye.
Bye.